So do your kids think money grows on trees?
Oh, all the trees. And we have none in our backyard.
Welcome to the Strong Like a Mother podcast with Cherie
and Jada. We're doing your best. Doesn't mean
right
to be perfect.
Levi just thinks, I'll ask him because he's actually a good saver, probably because he likes to use my money instead.
Smart man.
But he has like a little wallet where he keeps like his like birthday money and stuff that he's gotten. And he goes, well, can't I just use your money? Let me use your credit card.
That's almost like scary that they are aware of what you use to pay for things or that you have money. You got me. You right? Mm-hmm. You got me, Mom? Mm-hmm. One of the things that kind of drives me crazy sometimes is like how many things the school asks for money for. We're not even private school. There's free dress, there's smoothies, there's field trips. Field trips are normal. All this stuff. And I'm like, you don't even ask me for smoothies on a regular basis. How do I know you're going to even drink this smoothie? Yeah. That not only you need money for, but you need cash, which I am horrible with carrying cash. Yeah. So then I got to go to all this stuff. And I'm like, are you even drinking this drink while I'm going through all this trouble? So I got to the place where I'm like, hey, you guys get money for Christmas. You guys get money for birthdays and all this kind of stuff. If this is something that you want that is not a necessity at school, you have to pay for it. Yeah. And then guess what? They don't ever ask to participate in these things anymore. Field trips are fine. That's more of a necessity, so that's fine. Yeah. But I'm just like, isn't that funny now? Now that you need to use your money, that it sits a little bit different with the need to participate in certain things. So I don't know. Yeah.
Recently, so Levi's birthday and Christmas are very close together. So he usually gets a nice little burst of money at one time. And so he has been saving his money because my child is obsessed with robots. Any kind of robot. He really specifically loves Roombas. It's like the oddest obsession. Like literally since he could like walk and talk, he's been obsessed with our Roomba. And so he wanted the Roomba that mops the floors.
Okay, smart man.
I don't hate it. Right? I'd split it with you. I mean, it's not a cheap thing, right? And I have like a housekeeper that helps me with that. And so it feels pointless to me because I'm like, I mean, they come and mop our floors like every other week, like in between I just Swiffer if needed. But he really has been saving his money for that. But then the other day he broke down because he knows he had about $60 in his wallet. And he was like, well, can I go look at the toys? And I said, we were in Target, and I'm like, you can go look at the toys. If you want to buy anything, it is going to come out of your money. He goes, okay. So he did end up picking out like a $40 toy, which it's your money. You get to use it how you want to. But I was shocked, honestly, because he is such a little saver that even at this moment, like he made that conscious decision that he wanted that bad. And spoiler alert, I mean, he bought 2 robots. They're like
he could put a mop in their hand.
I mean, it's basically like Rock'em Sock'em robots. Okay. Except they are by like remote control and they like swing and knock each other over. It's literally Rock'em Sock'em with remote controls. That's what it is. So he decided I was like, well, I guess it doesn't surprise me that you still picked a robot. But we've been really tossing the idea around of doing an allowance for that because, I think that being an only child, it is a lot easier to say yes to things when they ask for it because you're like, why not? Ultimately, I don't have others to buy for. But I don't want to create a spoiled child either. Yeah. Like I want you to understand the value of $1. And so we've been really tossing the idea around of doing an allowance, but then, there's controversy on do you tie it to chores? Do you not tie it to chores? So I don't know. He's a great help cleaning. So I hate to necessarily, I don't feel the need, I guess, to tie it to chores because we all very much participate in the maintaining of our household, including him at 5 years old. Like, he's a great little window washer. I mean, he will sweep, he will mop, he will wash your windows. Like, he wants to help unload the dishwasher. He really is a champ. He's always been that way, though. And I don't know if it's us that we are very all like, you know, we're all going to pick it up. It's like, I'm not going to pick up your mess. You're not going to we're all going to pick it up in that moment and try to keep, you know, as tidy as we can. Which, look, there are plenty of days where our house is not tidy, but it helps when everybody participates. But do you guys do allowance?
We don't. And so let me ask you this question real quick. So would he just get an allowance for being cute? Or
I don't know. I'm trying to sort that out.
Okay.
You know, the research that I've been doing talks about, well, you don't necessarily want chores to be tied to it because, like, let's just say your financial situation changes and you can't give an allowance. Well, there still should be that expectation. Like, chores should not necessarily be tied to the allowance for that reason. So I don't know. Because to me, I feel like it's almost like having a little mini job, you know, like you think about when you're 16 or however old you are when you got your first job and you work for that money. I think that there's an important element to that.
Yeah.
That it teaches you to do a job completely and well. And it, you know, like there has to be something you have to work for.
Right.
So I don't know, you know, do you tie it to grades?
So we do not do an allowance. Mm-hmm. We do pay for grades. So, and even like my mom, whenever the girls, they get their semester grades in, Riley doesn't care about money, which is another thing that's a little difficult to like, how do we really teach her that? Like we can teach Peyton, who is now a lot older, but so a lot of times we don't even give her money. We say, hey, you get something because of your grades. So what treat do you want?
Yeah.
And we do it that way. But yeah, I guess as far as like paying for chores, I don't know. I think that's how I would probably do it. Yeah. We discussed that instead of just getting free babysitting out of Peyton, that we actually pay her for keeping Dylan.
Yeah.
So I think that's what we're leaning toward, especially coming the summer when Dylan's not in camp. I have to go to work. Peyton will be responsible for the house. That she would earn money for that service that I would have to pay somebody else to do.
Yeah.
So why not keep that money in house? And I guess as far as like, if at some point it wasn't a good budget item for me to pay for chores in the house, I mean, then I do them myself. You know, like if I couldn't pay a cleaning lady, then I would clean my house myself kind of thing. But I'm big at this point on, I can't just give you things if you haven't earned them, because we used to do that a lot. And I think it's how I grew up. I grew up different. Mm-hmm. So like how you grow up, you try and do the opposite.
Yeah.
And so like I'm always like, oh, we can afford it. You want something in Target, you get it. Yep. You want something, oh, we're just going to go to this place. And then you're always getting something. And then you always kind of they feel entitled to it all the time. Mm-hmm. And all the time I can't get it. And most of the time you haven't earned it. Yeah. And so then you don't see those things as like special occasions. You just feel like
everything should be handed to you.
I'm great. Yeah. She's going to do it for me. Without a doubt. She's going to make this happen. Or Dad's going to make it happen. Yeah. And I was like, I just don't like it. Then you're not even keeping your room clean at home, you know. Yep. Or if disrespectful moments, whatever. And I'm just like, I just went and did this for you or whatever. Right. And I don't want it to always be like, I do this for you. You know, you have to be this way, but know that in me giving you something that is not a requirement or a necessity, right, it does have to be earned. Yeah. Because it is something extra. So I have definitely cut the in-between holiday, like just random gifts. Like it has to definitely be like something small in the dollar spot. I don't care. Yeah. I don't care. Dollar Tree, sure, treat yourself. You know? But if it's like this big $50 or $60 toy, you better tell Santa, you better tell the Easter Bunny, which, we're crossing a bridge where that ain't even about to be a thing anymore. But, it's like, hey, you have to hold off for this event.
Yeah.
And just remember that. So when someone asks you what you want, hey, this is something you can tell them for this occasion, that you just give them stuff. Which, I don't know if this happens with you and grandparents, but that's kind of difficult. I don't know where these parents came from. Because it's not the mom I had.
They were not, that was not the same parents.
But there's this abundance of giving them stuff all the time. And they're like, no, but they're good kids. They are good kids.
Yeah.
But then they're always getting stuff. Riley went and stayed at my mom's house a couple weeks ago, and she did really good, like shooting basketball. My mom went and bought her a $200 basketball goal for me and Jared to have to put together.
Yeah.
I was like, okay. She's like, but she does, and she doesn't. She doesn't really ask for a whole lot.
Yeah.
And so I get it, but I'm like, but I don't want them to think every time they spend time with you. I don't want that association.
Yeah. Like, that's not where the value is.
Right. I don't want that association. I want them to know that, we can spend time together without you getting something, and it can be just as great.
Yeah.
So
I think it's a fine line, because I never want to be that person that tells the grandparent, no, you can't do this. Like I remember, specifically my dad's mom, my grandma, she treated us. I mean, and she would, a lot of times it was, I'm going to take you to the dollar store and I'm going to let you pick something out. And those, that created really great memories. And so I don't want to be that person that's like, you can't do this, or you can't feed them that, because I'm very much, look, if it's your house, it's your rules. And, there's not a whole lot of, within reason. I mean, I don't expect you to go feed them, a bowl of jelly beans for dinner, but, it's a fine line. But I do agree that, you kind of have to walk it, because you don't want them to just associate, well, there needs to be a treat every single time they hang out with grandma or grandpa. So it can be tough.
Yeah. And I'll say this, like how I grew up, I don't think that I had the best idea of money.
Yeah.
Not for probably for the worse. Because then I didn't really know how to handle money well.
Yeah.
It wasn't just something that we talked about. Like, that was an adult thing.
Yeah.
That was a parent issue. And so then it wasn't really like inbred in us to like save, plan, budget, like all that kind of stuff. It wasn't taught to us. So then, man, when I first started making my own money, I was like, oh, treat yourself.
Yep.
And so now it's taken me now 20 years to work through those bad habits of like, girl, like, that's not sustainable. And so then you're disappointed when you just can't go buying whatever you want. And so that's not what I want for my girls. It's like, as soon as you get money, just go spend it all.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't work that way. It shouldn't work that way. It can.
Yeah.
But then you have to then keep working and keep and like it's this hamster wheel, instead of sometimes I can go and do this, and then sometimes I'm going to be a little bit more reserved. Like, you can do both things.
Yeah.
And not the abundance of one or the other. Like, I don't want you to feel like you can never spend money, which I feel like I have two modes. Either I feel like I can't spend money, or like I don't know how to stop.
Yeah.
And I don't think either one of those are healthy. So I'm trying to put in them the balance of, like, sometimes we have to save up to do certain things.
Yeah.
Or even when you have it, try not to spend everything, because as an adult, you learn you never know when you're going to need it.
Yes.
So it's good to kind of keep a little bit of money.
Yeah.
Just in case you need it for something else that pops up at school that, hey, I really want it. Especially like, hey, these book fairs at school, these traps where they just want toys.
Oh, yeah.
Which Dylan is smaller, so it's different. She's in that window. She's being forgiven, but still, she kind of, we've learned lessons, 2 kids before her, so she gets it a lot different.
Yeah.
You're not going to just get whatever you want whenever you go somewhere.
Yeah.
Like, you get one thing.
Mm-hmm.
You pick that one thing, and if you can't really decide, that means you really don't need it, and that's okay.
Yeah.
She's having a hard time accepting that. That's okay part. She's like, she told me they had their book fair this past week, and she's like, Dad didn't let me buy anything. And I was like, well, Dylan, what did you want? She was like, well, I wanted a book. He said, well, you couldn't pick a book.
Yeah.
So he didn't feel like you wanted anything enough.
Yeah.
And so she was just disappointed because she didn't care. She just wanted something.
Yeah.
And okay, girlfriend, you know, we can't do that everywhere you go, that you just have to get something. And I'm speaking from experience. You don't have to get something. Preaching to myself.
Yeah, I was going to say that, you know, a little self-reflection there.
Yeah, sometimes you got to walk out the store with nothing in your hand, and that's okay.
That's okay. That's all right. Yeah, so when we went on vacation recently to Disney, a lot of times for Levi's birthday, because it seems to kind of like all coincide together, I'll tell family members, like, you know, look, I've never want to tell you what you have to get. If you want to get him a Disney gift card, I will keep that, you know, for him. And so that actually worked out really well because he had some birthday money and he had his Disney gift cards, and he had a substantial amount, you know, for a kid. And so it helped to limit, what do you want? You know, you have, I think he ended up having like $125 in like gift cards or whatever. And he decided on his own, because he had another, you know, $50 or $60 that was in cash. And I brought all of it. I brought his wallet so that he, you know, I want to teach you how to pay. I want to teach, because I think all of those, that's life skills.
Yeah.
And so, you know, I'm like, okay, you have this much money. You want this little claw machine thing over here, right? And then now I'm thinking, how the hell are we going to get this home? But I'm like, it's going to take the rest of your money, all your gift card money. You still got he's like, I don't want to spend the cash money. I want to spend the gift card money, and I'm okay with that. And so then the next time he asked, I'm like, well, you spent your gift card money. Do you want to spend your money on that? And I think that there's a value in that, because let's be real, it doesn't matter where you're going on vacation. You as a parent, you spend a lot of money to get your kids there. Even the most budget-friendly thing, you spent a fair amount of money to get that experience for your child. And so I think teaching them that this is the money you have, you get to decide how you spend it, but when it's out, it's very valuable for them to kind of go, all right, you know, it does help to instill those budget skills early. You know, I think my parents did a really good job at teaching us about debt. Yeah. But I look back and, you know, life skills that I'm implementing with my own child is more, you know, that value of the dollar too, because while the debt part is super, super valuable, I think it's, you know, really, it starts early, and you have to start early kind of teaching them, like, all right, which is why we want to implement the allowance, because then, I mean, look, he's going to get it one way or another, you know? So if I give it to him and then he's got the money and goes, okay, you know, like the worst thing that we do is stop at CVS, because, you know, you always, like, I love CVS. It's at the very front of our neighborhood, essentially. It's easy to stop in. We get our prescriptions filled there. You know, just what the random odds and ends that you need in life. I feel like I'm there at least once a week. And that's the worst thing I do, because they have like the toys, and then, you know, the holiday stuff. And he's like, oh, can I have this? Can I have that? You know, whatever. And I'm like, ugh. Like, I try to go without him there, because I feel like every time we go in there, he sees that little TY stand of the plushies. And he needs a new plushie. And I'm like, you don't need another plushie. You actually don't have room for any more plushies. So, you know, but giving him that ability to say, well, that's your money. You spend it how you want, you know. Yeah. It at least gives him the power to say, well, if I want it that bad, I'll spend my money.
Yeah. I like that concept, to where I'm allowing you to make the decision. I'm not just telling you no all the time.
Yeah.
I have to say it enough already, but
Yeah.
I want you to be able to make these decisions
Yeah.
for yourself, because one day you will have to make those
Yeah.
decisions for yourself and to choose, was this worth it, or could I have waited? Because you just never know. It could be something better. They don't understand the concept of like deals and coupons at this particular
Right.
point, which I'm obsessed, and that's probably what makes me buy more stuff. It's
Yeah.
like, buy one get one 50% off.
Oh,
But-
they get me every time with that kind of stuff.
But it's like, hey, would you rather this
Yeah.
or that?
Yep.
So, do you get Levi involved in planning things like family vacations, or, I mean, different things to help him make those decisions so it helps you not waste money on something that he doesn't even want anyway?
We really haven't up until this point, because I think he's been too young to really kind of go, involve him. But this year, like, we're looking at maybe, and it's, everything revolves around, how many vacations we take kind of reflects on how successful I am, which is, a driver for me. But we're looking at maybe doing a small trip in August before school starts, because there's a break between summer camp and school. And so I think I might involve him and just be like, all right, so, we went to Disney this year. We have a beach trip planned this year. So here's some options of things that we could do. What looks good to you? So I'm really thinking, once we kind of make the decision on if we are doing that, involving him at that point and going, so here's some things that we've done. Here's some new options. Do we really want a secondary beach trip? Probably not. I mean, I could live at the beach, truthfully, so I wouldn't hate that. But I do think it's important to kind of help them make those decisions and feel like, they are an active part of the family and can actively make those decisions too. Because I think I'm all about, everything you do now, it's building life skills for later.
Absolutely.
And so I want you to have good life skills and be able to make those decisions and tell yourself no if need be, or say, okay, we've budgeted for this and we have the money for this, so let's take a little trip, and what looks fun to you, and be able to involve him. So we haven't yet, but I do think that that's coming, and that, I am very big on treating him somewhat as an equal, as the tiny human that he is, and within reason, but I want you to feel like an active part. And if you're just saying, I don't want to do this, then there's no reason that we spend money on it. Maybe that's a trip me and Dustin take alone without him. So have y'all done that at all, or do that?
We do, just because it's nothing worse than spending money on a vacation that your kids would have rather stayed home for. That's hurtful.
Yeah.
But the other thing we do is birthday parties.
Yeah.
Would you rather a birthday party, or would you rather go and do something?
Yep.
How do you want us to spend this money to celebrate your birthday?
Yeah.
And so Peyton makes 16 this year, and we had this discussion a few years ago, because 16 is such a big birthday.
It's a milestone for sure.
And all this stuff. And I was like, hey, would you rather take a big trip, or would you rather throw a big party? And she was like, trip. All right, where do you want to go?
Girl after my own heart.
Let's go. And I mean, honestly, I've spent trip money on birthday parties. I'm not really ashamed to say it is what it is. But, if I could spend that on just entertaining you, and not entertaining everybody else, oh, let's do it. So that's what she chose. And I mean, I asked her. I didn't imprint what I wanted to do.
Right.
For her, she just, but I support that 1,000%. The trip thing.
Oh yeah. I think it comes down to, I'm a life experience person.
Yeah.
And I'm not really a super material person. I have my vices. Cups. Yeah. I love my cups. I do love my cups. There was a time I really loved expensive purses. And I think it's just kind of lost its sparkle for me. Not that I don't still like nice things, but I want to look back on my life and go, I lived a life full of experience that we traveled, we experienced, we tasted amazing food. Those are the things that are important to me. And I think, when you instill that in your kids, you will have much more valuable experiences that way. So I love that she picked that, because I think in the Instagram world that we live in, it's easy to get caught up in, I want the big sweet 16.
Yeah.
I want this, I want that. And, our poor kids, like, we didn't have that influence, social media was, just barely being born, and it certainly wasn't what it is today. So, I love that she chose that as her, I want to do this, instead of having like this, sweet 16 party.
Yeah, I want them to learn that money can be used as a vessel to do things and to take you places.
Yeah.
I don't want them to just be under the impression that, hey, I need to be worried about it.
Yeah.
Like, how can I build a successful life?
Yeah.
And make the most of it. Not make the most money, but make the most of money.
Yeah.
To have an enjoyable life. And so, definitely for us, it's become more of an experience thing. We do like material things. We do like nice coffee makers or houses, but it's not constantly buying new things all the time.
Yeah.
Hey, we build up to get to this.
Yeah.
Or to the next phase, whatever those things. And the more you chip away at it, the harder it'll be to take that big extravagant trip.
Yeah.
Because, one of the conversations we had to have this year, hey, would you guys rather go back to Disney World or go somewhere new? We can't do both.
Yeah.
You pick one. So their thing was to pick somewhere new to go.
Yeah.
I think we're still going to try and do both things, but this is what we can do.
Yeah.
So in turn, you want to go on this trip, mommy and daddy have to work really hard. So there'll be some sacrifices and like time, or doing, a bunch of paid experiences local to make sure that we save and do what we need to do to get you to this trip to Mexico or wherever it is. It takes this. So showing them, this is how we get it done. And then, hey, this is a great experience it affords us when we have worked really hard to do this.
And you didn't pay for the $50 toy every time you went to Target, or the $10 stuffy at CVS, or,
I don't care what Ryan said. We're not buying that toy.
Right. So I think that's a really good point to, you correlate.
Yeah.
We're sacrificing these things, these instant gratification things, to save for a greater good.
But to be honest, I need those things. I am I'm a rewards person.
Yeah.
So I have to know what I'm working towards.
Yeah.
So like you have your 1, 3, and 5 year goals. Like, I have to know that this is what this is for.
Yeah.
This is what I have to have a goal in mind that I can like visually see, even if it's not like a physical item, that it's an experience to motivate me to say it's worth all this time and effort.
Yeah.
Because this is what I'm going for. And then, when it changes, or you better be worth it, because this was hard. So.
And on that note, that brings up a really important thing that I hadn't really considered until you just said that, but the importance of letting your children do vision boards.
Yeah, we do those.
That visualize, it's not really something we've done with Levi, but I feel like he's getting to that age where it's like, okay, I love a good vision board, because it helps you visualize what you're working towards and why we put in the hard work and what that reward is. So definitely just, all interesting things that play on your psychological, that undermining thing that just kind of is that driver that you maybe don't even think about. So,
I'd love to give my kids the world, but I want them to be able to appreciate it also.
Yeah.
So I think that's more important to me, that they're able to appreciate what is given. Do I think they appreciate it in that actual moment? I definitely don't. I know for a fact
Yeah.
But over time that they appreciate it instead of just constantly being given things, so that they can go out in the world and really have a realistic grasp of how it works.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I hope we're doing better, because man, we used to give them all the things like, here, you get a toy, you get a toy. So yeah. But I think that seems to be it for this week. But let's give our Strong Mom shout out. We got this one in for Miss Jessica Fiesel. Yep. She was another nominated mom, and we love that we gave to them and that they're giving back to people in their circle. And so she wanted to nominate her friend and sister, Kayla Mayorga. I hope I did not butcher your last name. But she just wanted to give you a shout out to say how amazing of a mother you've been to your children, and how you're out there doing your best. You're pouring into other kids out there in the community as a wonderful teacher. And we want to just say thank you for all you're doing out there. And we love that you're still keeping something extra for your children at home. So
that's awesome. I really, these Strong Mother of the Week awards have become such a great point that I look forward to every week. So don't forget to send us your nominations. We want to hear from you. Send us your sweet mamas, your strong mamas. What, you know, there's a mother in your life that's doing amazing things or need to be lifted up, please send them our way. So don't forget, you can find us on Instagram in between episodes at Strong Like a Mother Podcast, and we will see you guys next week.
Bye.